Welcome everybody to the Broken Wing Racing League. This is the GT3 Championship. We're here at round 3 at the Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona. And joined with me for co-commentating is Chad Peterson.
Hey guys, how's it going? Should be a fun day in Barcelona. Excited for some good racing.
And hopefully it's all clean racing without some broken wings. Right now we're on board with Trey Mistack, who's sitting P2 in practice with Elliot Burton just behind 0.16 on the last lap. For that counted during qualifying, counted during practice, but you will see that this changed a little bit in qualifying. We'll see like closer gaps as people are just going out there and trying to make their best of this situation.
Yeah, I think we'll see somebody break into the 40s for sure in qualifying. It's going to look like Peter and Trey going to be your best butts for possibly the pole.
Not only that, but Peter Flanner, good to take pole here. He is leading it right now, and as you stated before we were even talking, is that from P1 to P11, it is all 141 separated by almost a second now, but that's insane. These drivers pushing that limit there. Jeff Koffel being the last one there.
Very competitive field tonight, and tire management is going to be honestly a pretty important deal here. Very easy to overcook the tires and that lap time just start disappearing. So it'll be interesting to see who can keep the tires under them and keep that average pace up.
Not only that, going into P12 with Justin Scott, who's sitting in the pit lane. Travis Barker, or Thomas Baker, also in the pit lane. But Mark Foley out there in the scrap of things. We got 142s from P12 all the way down to P17, and then it switches to 143s, and only a few drivers outside of that entirely, which is really going to support some good close racing throughout this.
Barcelona's a hard track to overtake, so we'll most likely be seeing some moves down into turn 1, and it'll be interesting to see if, just like in F1, if the guys will be able to keep it on track going into the chicane.
Yeah, and with only 7 minutes and 40 seconds to go, we're about to start qualifying. Right on the dot, what is that, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just 10 minutes earlier than predicted. And thankfully, we were ready for it. Almost not ready for it. Chad gave me the go-ahead 5 minutes ago, so thankfully I was all prepared.
Hey, early is on time, right?
Yeah, and here we have a Trident racing driver, Andrew Cody, not part of the Trident Ren group of Eric Koonsman and Dylan Maroney, but he's out there, and oof, to the wall he goes.
One thing in qualifying, these guys are really going to have to watch the track limits. It's very easy to get the off track on the uphill turn 9. That right-hander can be very troublesome on the exit curb. It'll be interesting to see who can get the lap in.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a strong result for Draft Punk Racing in qualifying, but we know that there have been turmoil on the track during the race. Elliot Burton being sent into the wall, and Phillip Island really dropped him down in the point standings, as well as Peter Flanner having a mishap in the previous race before that. Luck doesn't seem to be on their side, but hopefully in this race, on round 3, it does. And a new contender is
finish first you must finish, right?
Yeah, the Will Buxton method of commentating with Jason Lyons, a newcomer into the in the season. I have not seen him before, and it looks like he just got a little sloppy there on the exit, but despite this error, he is P4 in practice with JD Daniel, who was not Christopher Daniel. There's another, well, this is to me confusing because the Pax Oceani Alpha and Bravo is John Javecki, Christopher Daniel, Alan Paris, and Alex Othen. But now there is another Pax Oceani that is
Maybe
out
they're
there.
related.
With
Maybe
the
they're
last name
brothers.
of
We don't know.
Daniel, yeah, they must be related. But wow, yeah, I guess we have a fifth addition to this growing team. Maybe they're going to try to convert a third team out of this. Maybe a
That
Charlie
must be
team.
the Chip Ganassi of the GT3s then, with having 5 cars on track.
Yeah, and there's the Javecki. This is the livery that is sported by the other drivers on those two teams. So very interesting. Have
Yep.
not seen this driver before.
Yeah, we have a lot of newcomers to the league, so that'll be fun and exciting. And glad to have him out here.
Yeah, and I believe another newcomer is Mike Braun, but I believe I saw him last race or the race before that. But definitely newer to my roster of drivers that I've not had to say their names yet. There's one driver in particular, Matthew Johnston, is in P18 in practice. I have not seen that driver before.
I believe Thomas Baker's a new face as well.
Thomas Baker. Uh, I think I've had one. He's been in one race previously, I believe, but I could be mistaken on that one. But some of them do seem like they're pretty. As go over to
Trey
Trey
with a
Missack.
41 flat, almost into the 40s.
Yeah, that's
I do believe we'll see somebody get into the 40s in qualifying for sure.
you hope, but with traffic, you gotta set the right gap for yourself. And what we've seen a lot is some of these drivers will just follow another driver into the start of their push lap, and it's really worked as a detriment for some of those drivers, not really building any gaps before making that first run down into turn one.
I agree. Open qualifying really it's not honestly about who's the fastest, but who can find the open track and get the time in cleanly. Um, Finding that open space on this track particularly can be pretty difficult. You have a lot of high-speed fast sweepers, so trying to yield to somebody can be difficult, and you're going to lose some time if that happens. So I think the person who's going to get pulled will be the one that can get a good clean lap in.
Yeah, I would agree. It's comes down to that cleanness, and also sometimes people are just pushing it. This little skipping around, but Henry Ferguson, he's new to the group. I haven't seen the name before, and we'll welcome him to the Broken Wing Racing League. He sits in P31 at the moment. We'll see if anything changes there.
If anybody watched the Spa 24-hour qualifying, it was traffic, 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 and more traffic. So
Oh
I kind of
yeah,
expect a little bit of that here.
that was a really uh, a really rough race. It's one point when how was it like 6 cars went into the pit lane, and then they called that the race were going to restart. Safety car was going in, so they just got like doubly. They got dropped down a lap on that. And it's like
They did. They did.
when it
They
rained, it poured for those drivers and those teams.
sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield.
That's a good sentiment there. Looking at the drivers of Christopher Daniel here, who we're on board with, his sister team of Alex Authen is in front of him with a 140.8, as well as Alan Paris, who is in P5 in practice. So it looks like the Bravo has the upper hand right now on the Alpha team. And John Javecki, I don't even believe he's here. And yeah, so Christopher Daniel's on his own.
Solo with the team squad, huh?
Yeah, but I know previously talked about is that he and his teammates, his sister teammates, they're all in a group voice chat together, going through this race, talking about strategy, seeing what they can do to help each other out. It's great for some drivers to have that going for them.
I think the undercut will be a possibility here, especially with the tire wear. If you can get into some clean air and not destroy the tires. That might be the play. So Trey's still on top with a 41 flat, and Peter with a 41.1. The top guys, the top 3 guys, are only separated by 0.3.
Yep. And it's going to be exciting in qualifying as we have Eric Rodriguez trying to blow up his car in the some part of this track. Is
that some tire manipulation going on there?
Yeah, and practice is over and we're about to start qualifying.
So let's see if these guys play nice and space correctly for their hot laps, or if they go full bore trying to race each other on the out laps, because we've seen that.
Andrew Korostecki gets out ahead of Trey Mistack. Down into turn 1 they go. Now everyone's pulling out of the pit lane.
Busy off pit lane. Trey already looking down the inside of Andrew on the out lap.
Yeah, I think Trey really wants to get that going.
To warm them tires up a little bit faster than Andrew. It's really easy in these GT3s to overheat the tires on the out lap with some slides and really kind of hurt your performance in qualifying.
There's Justin Scott, who it's a very interesting livery going there. It's very memey, I would say. Ambitious but rubbish, I think it was on the back there, and it's time for the smug face.
I see a U.S. flag, so he's got my vote.
Yeah. Behind him, Jeff Koffold, Eric Rodriguez, Chris Lambeth, Dylan Maroney.
Well, the gaps are very close right now. Some guys are gonna have to abort this first fast lap for sure.
Yeah, Elliot Burton right there in the thick of it, and he's got a fast guy ahead of him. That's his only saving grace here. As we go straight to Trey Mistack, who's starting his push lap. And I'll just throw this to Chad Peterson here so he can kind of guide us along with what Trey's trying to accomplish on this lap.
So as we come down into turn 1, he's going to be looking for what I call the mailbox on the left-hand side as his braking marker, and he's going to be using all of the curb on the entry and exit. Use the sausage curb here on the inside, just a little kiss of it. As he's going through turn 2, he's going to roll the center and try to get on power as early as possible. You don't want to wash out wide here, but you do want to carry as much speed down as possible. He's going to be braking just before the bridge, down to second gear. He's actually holding third in the vet.
Yeah, he's really
the vet has a much higher power band than some of the other GT3s and tends to be a gear up. Down into the hairpin. Doesn't use any of the curb in the hairpin. Looks like he has a slower car ahead. Hopefully he can get his lap in, or this car possibly yields, but it might not be an issue.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be an issue. Yeah, it's 3-second gap. As long as the driver ahead of him, Henry Ferguson, doesn't.
Turn 9 here is really hard to not get the off track. Trey definitely was, it looks like he's going for his banker lap. He was not fully committed to the exit there. Just get a clean lap in and then go for a fast lap is my guess.
Yeah, and the way he's taking these corners, he's already cutting into Henry Ferguson by almost a full second, and he just went off there. It's going to be rough.
Luckily, he's going to get a clean run to the line here and not be impeded in any way. He actually might even get a tow down the front stretch, which would be pretty helpful for him. He elected not to.
Trey Mistack setting the fastest lap right now at the time, but we're going to look over to JD Daniel and see where he goes. He goes to P2. Justin Scott crossing line in P3. Jeff Koffel to 4. Eric Rodriguez to 5.
We'll start seeing some of these faster guys come in with these mid 41s. You got Elliot Burton P3 with a 41.6. Peter Flanner just bumped Trey with a 41.39.
And that's a very impressive move for Peter Flanders. He is just a little bit faster in practice, but only by 0.2, so it's already a strong move for him. Ooh!
Oh!
So he has to take avoiding action.
Who is that spun there? I couldn't tell. I
I'm gonna
believe
say
that
that
was
was,
Bryce
yeah,
Bombeck.
Bryce Bomback. Take a quick look out there. He was on the outlap, full tires. Yeah, and thankfully
Good
nothing.
job holding his brakes there. Good avoiding action by everybody. Uh,
He's still parked there. I would just pull it to the pits.
he'd yep, be reset. There you go.
That's the best thing you could do. And Mark Foley seems to have an incident here as well on the exit.
Pit exit here is pretty interesting because it exits right onto the apex of turn 1. So that'll be
Yeah,
something to watch for during the pit cycles.
he seemed fine.
Yeah, I don't think he was impacted there, and that was going to be his outlap, so he'll be okay.
Absolutely.
Got just under 5 minutes left in qualifying, and most everybody has set a lap. We have, was it Henry Ferguson, Kyle Howe, Craig Carroll, Chris Chitterling? There's a few guys that have not set a lap yet.
Into Korsecki goes across the line to be actually overtaken by several drivers. Jeff Koffel goes to P9. Chris Lambert to P4. Goes back up to P5. Elliot Burton sets a time for P3. The shift in the order here is still happening. But the driver to look at is Trey Mistak, who was fastest in practice.
Trey's very quick in pretty much every track in GT3 that he drives.
And one thing I'll just note for everybody is that the scorecard is correct there up at the top left. You will see yellow flags, you'll see green flags. When it changes to a white flag, you'll know the race is coming close to an end. And the vertical scoreboard is accurate per lap. So the gap to the leader in P1 going down the order there from Andrew Korsecki with a 1.4 second difference to Peter Flanner. Some information there is it will cycle through the rest of the positions below P15.
The top 10 separated by 1 second only, so it's a pretty tight field out there tonight. JD's prepping a lap. It should be. Let's see what he can do if he can move up in the standings. He's currently P9.
And Trey Mistek
he
is
just
310.
had a moment. Oh, sorry. He just had a moment out of the on his build lap on the final corner.
Oh, that's unfortunate. And Trey Mistek went faster, but not fast enough.
Boy. 2200s, right?
Yeah, 2200. So that's 0.022 difference between Peter Flanner. So he's got to find another 10th for himself right there. As we have Chris Schierderling who's going to be crossing the line. Is he going to go faster on this lap? No, it looks like this is going to be a push lap for him. Oh, he did go faster. He was, I think, P15. Now he's P10.
Nice. That'll really help his start.
And Justin Scott, another driver, is going faster. If I'm to believe the data here, it looks like he's already a second faster on this lap. His last lap was 142.4. Mike Braun just goes ahead of him with a 142.4 as well. That's 0.012 difference in the gap.
So some of these guys who don't have a lap in better really get on the ball. There's only 2 minutes left in quali, so they have maybe 1 or 2 more chances at best to get a lap in. Currently, Eric Kuzman, Bryce Bombeck, Eddie Layton do not have laps in, so they definitely want to get that.
And with just a couple corners to go, we'll see if Justin Scott has really improved that much.
Looks like Trey's trying to find an open spot on the track and get one more run here and see if he can eclipse Peter.
That last lap was quicker. I don't think so. It was a 148.7. Wow, it's unfortunate for that driver.
Maybe he had a moment or traffic or something.
Yeah,
on board with Allen. Is he on a push lap? Looks like
I'd
he's
hope so.
crossing.
He's got 36 seconds to go. Jason Lyons
Got
goes ahead into P3, overtaking Elliot Burton with a 141.5.
while the top 10 is now separated by nothing. Five
Yeah,
tenths.
it
Yeah,
goes to
five and a
P11
half
or
tenths from.
P12.
That's impressive.
Yeah, down to P12. Everyone in the 141s. Alan Paris' previous lap was an out lap, so this would have been the push. So this changed things for him. It does not, but oh, crossing the line there is Jacob Simmons, and he
I
goes
believe he
ahead.
crossed. I believe. Okay. That'll be his last lap. Trey is currently on a push lap. See if he can improve. I think he's one of the last cars that made it across the line with time to spare.
Take a look and see that Trey's best lap was 141.4, and Peter Flanner's a 141.390. He's got to find 1/10 in order to overtake Peter Flanner for pole. It's only a few drivers on the track still going to see if they can make a difference here. Yeah, so Elliot Burton, Alan Paris, Mark Foley, Chris Lambert, Christopher Daniel, Alec Authen, Cooper McCoy, Justin Scott, Matthew Johnston, Noah Hodgkinson. Noah Hodgkinson just crossed the line to overtake Matthew Johnston for P20, and he's probably going to call it there. Matthew Johnston still has a couple seconds left before he's going to cross the line. Maybe we'll see an improvement out of him.
Ooh, Trey looked like he might have picked up the off track on the final corner. I do believe he did because he abandoned the lap. He did not cross the line, so he either didn't improve or he got the off track there on the very last lap.
Chris Lambeth crossing the line. I don't believe he improved there. Christopher Daniel also not improving. Matthew Johnston. And Matthew Johnston did not improve, and neither did Alan Paris, who was left.
So we have first to 14th separated by less than 1 second.
And P1 is Peter Flanner, Trey Mistak, and P2, Jacob Simmons, P3, Jason Lyons in P4, Elliot Burton in 5, Alan Paris in 6, Mark Foley in 7, Chris Lambert in 8. Next page is Christopher Daniel in 9, Alex Authen in 10, JD Daniel in 11, Chris Schirtling in 12, Nicholas Massa in 13, Jeff Poffel in 14, Andrew Korsecki in 15, Cooper McCoy in 16, Mike Braun in 17, Justin Scott in 18, Charles Whedon in 19, Noah Hodgkinson in 20, Matthew Johnston 21, Thomas Baker 22, Craig Carroll in 23, Andrew Cody 24, Jeff Lubish in 25, Rodrigo Theory 26, Kyle Howe in 27, Eddie Layton 28, Dylan Maroney in 29, Eric Rodriguez in 30, Eric Koonsman in 31, Battle of the Erics, that's something to look out for there in 31, Steve McAllister in 32, and down we got Bryce Bombick in 33, Henry Ferguson in 34, Chad Peterson, who's here with me in the booth, so he doesn't count.
Not today. Not in the car today. Glad to join you in the booth, though. This should be fun. Should be a good race.
Yeah.
Very tight field, and I expect some fireworks, honestly, coming down into turn 1. If I was a betting man.
And if I had a bet on it, there's definitely going to be some action on the field. We'll see. Everyone, your favorite livery on the grid for sure. Maybe not. But that's Jacob Simmons in P3, sporting the Bush's Baked Beans with Lamb Dog Duke Memorial Race Team. That's quite the mouthful of beans.
Amen to that. It's definitely a crowd favorite.
And we are close to
Pace car's
getting
about to
this.
roll off.
Yep. Hopefully everyone's checked their boxes. It looks like we might have Mark Foley not on the deck there. Nope, he's there. Looks like he's not, but he's there. And we got away with 34 cars on the grid, all about to go green. Now, if I was a betting man, I'd say that Peter Flanders he's got a long race to go, and he's got two extremely competitive drivers behind. Three, four, all of them are competitive, but the speed at which Trey Mistak has excelled throughout the last season, using that McLaren tractor and putting it on pole sometimes and winning races. He's a fast driver, as you stated, Chad. This is going to be
Race
interesting.
consistency is one of his strengths for sure, so it'll be up to Peter to upset. Peter gets a good jump off the start. It looks like he's going to have a clean run down to turn 1.
Not only that, Jacob Simmons is battling for P2, overtaking Trey Mistak already at the start. And into turn 1, he's going to have the line.
And his mirror is looking at this. He is loving it.
And through goes Jacob Simmons.
Nice move by Jacob, just to barely slot in front of Trey.
Elliot Burton got ahead of Jason Lyons, taking P4 as well.
I do believe we made it through turn 1 clean.
I believe so.
And yes, I sound a little surprised.
And we have a battle of battles of all the Pax Oceani Alpha Bravo are sitting neck and neck with Chris Schierling, Alex Othen, Chris Lambeth just ahead. Alan Paris is the one in front. Chris Schierling losing a position, or up 2 positions already off the start of this race. Might go down 1 as Christopher Daniel gets ahead of him again. And just behind is JD Daniel, maybe his brother. Definitely, maybe a family member. We don't even know, but they do have the same last name as they go side by side still through the next couple corners. I think Christopher Schierling's going to have this one for now as Cooper McCoy gets ahead of Jeff Kaufhold slightly. But Jeff has the inside line. Jeff's going to go ahead, and that's going to be 1 position gain for him.
And Jeff's attempting to hold the outside.
Oh, no!
It looks like Jeff got into
and
the back left of his, or Cooper got into Jeff, excuse me.
And that is also Cooper is trying to recover. He's got massive damage as well.
Oh yeah, that car definitely is damaged, and he's going to have to pit immediately.
And then further back, we have Andrew Cody and Kyle Howe just behind. That gap is very small right now. I think Kyle Howe might have something on his hands here.
Looks like you're just kind of, everyone's riding line to stern here and just maybe trying to settle in, see where their race pace is at before we go for some moves. Jacob and Peter within a second. Trey's right there as well.
Everybody's really holding their own right now. The gaps are, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, up to 6 tenths, 7 tenths, but we have Noah Hodgkinson here, 2 tenths away from Matthew Johnston in P17 and 16. Noah Hodgkinson up 3 positions at the start of this race, but Matthew Johnston's gained 5 positions, actually overtaking Noah Hodgkinson somewhere during this first couple laps and making a move.
Yeah, Noah's looking pretty racy there. He looked like he was showing his nose to Johnston a few times and maybe just trying to unsettle him here. Oh, tries to go for a move down the inside, but elects to back out smartly. We'll see if he can get a run down into turn 1. Turn 1 being the most prominent overtaking spot at Barcelona. He's right on his bumper coming out of the exit of the last corner. He's going to have a run here. Will Johnston go defensive? He does not. Noah is showing that he's going to go inside. Does he? Yes, he is. Looks like he's going to go for the move. Does he commit? That move looked like Noah looked like he had the move on there and just decided to back out of it, either for
it looked that
cautious.
Way. It definitely looked that way. So we'll go towards Jason Lyons here, down 4 positions. I'm not sure if he had a bit of an incident, but started P4 and now down to P8. Chris Lambeth is ahead of him, Alan Paris. Rough start for this driver.
It'd be hard to find your rhythm here first few laps. Maybe he just got bullied a little bit.
It's quite possible, yeah. Ooh, Matthew Johnson finding the curbing there. Is Noah Hodgkinson's going to finally make a move, possibly?
Definitely looks like Noah's the faster car here at this moment. He should go for a move. I think he's just playing it a little safe. Nothing wrong with that.
And this is a live gap that we're seeing between these two drivers, but on the previous lap, we can see Matthew Johnson was just slightly, actually had a good gap for him on the last lap to Noah Hodgkinson, even with the, with the slipstream effect. And look at Noah just went a little bit wide there on entry, and
Noah's
on exit.
showing him. Noah's showing his nose in old Matt's mirrors at every opportunity that he can. Trying to unsettle him just to see if he can maybe possibly make a mistake and make a move a little bit easier instead of a fully committed dive into T1. That's one of the things with Barcelona. It can be very hard, even if you're faster, to get ahead of the car without a fully committed send into T1. I think Noah's just maybe saving fuel even, and just saving tire and kind of taking it easy. Johnson's looking to move ahead now with Noah on his tail. We've got Justin Scott in front of him. Looks like he's sizing him up for a move.
Agree with you there. He's got a little bit of a train for him too. From P15 onward to, is that Craig Carroll in the background, and Thomas Baker also just loosely coming together and gonna join this fight fairly soon.
Yeah, and Peter out front still with a 1.4 second lead. He's slowly pulling, and I mean ever so slowly pulling a gap to Jacob Simmons, maybe half of a tenth a lap, but it does look like Jake is pulling up on him now. He's within 1 second, so he might have a run.
Going over to the PAX Oceani
the team squad.
Bravo team with Christopher Daniel, part of the Alpha team, just behind Alex Othen. And these guys are in voice chat, so they will be talking about strategy. And it looks to be on pace right now that Alex Othen is a little bit quicker on the last lap. But he is definitely right there on the heels of Jason Lyons, who's also trying to make a move on his own. That's Chris Lambeth, who went defensive into turn 1. This is only going to benefit the PAX Oceani teams right now.
Yeah, it looks like with Chris going defensive there, it's starting to stack up the rest of the guys from 8th to 12th. They're all starting to get a little bit closer here. And oh, it looks like, was that Noah that got around?
He did.
Around Matt? Yeah, he did.
And yeah, I'm not sure. He lost 2 positions, so he must have just slipped up. It doesn't
Matt
say he
might have
didn't
had
have
a
an
little
incident.
moment or a bobble with Noah was really putting a lot of pressure on him and just showing him his nose at every opportunity, and maybe he finally cracked under that pressure.
And there's Cooper McCoy going ahead of Bryce Bomback for the time.
Can he make it around the outside and then have the inside into the chicane as this is going to be tight coming down in. Watch this sausage curve on the outside.
They are side by side still, going to another couple corners.
Well, that's some good racing right there.
And his car is still damaged. Cooper McCoy's car made contact with another.
Oh, that's right. Cooper's
down 11 positions.
Oh, Bryce looking to fight back immediately.
Oh, goes down for the inside line.
Oh,
He was almost there.
He was almost there, and Cooper didn't chop his nose, but he just slid right in front of him.
And there goes
Looks like Bryce
Craig
backed
Carroll.
out for.
Yeah, I think he did. And Craig Carroll just getting ahead of Charles Whedon. Now he's got on the hunt for Matthew Johnston. That group was coming together. We stated that as much, and now we're going to see even more drivers are now finding the pace in the rhythm in the race right now. They're all coming together in the midfield.
you know, lap 6 now, we actually will start seeing some of these guys overworking their tires even this early. You'll start seeing them have a few slides, especially with the front end, these long sweepers. It can really, really overwork the tires. So whoever's managing that will be picking up some pace. Looks like JD's going down for a move on Chris Chitterling.
That
He's
he
got the
is.
inside, and he got it done. Looks like Chris has got a good run on the outside here. They're still side by side.
And this is going to go for Nicholas Mazda trying to join this fight as well. And he gets ahead. And don't reach-chat. Coach AD, have my babies. Oh my god, guys. Let's go Pax Oceani. This is the one of the drivers of the Pax Oceani who's not... It's not John Javecki, is it? Because JV Daniel, but... This is a new addition.
We're
still
driver possibly.
Yeah, we're still trying to piece this together in the commentating booth who this driver is, because this is the first time I've seen JD Daniel in a race who's gone ahead. And there's Nicholas Mazza, who
all over Chris Chitterling.
And I think he might see where he goes on the slipstream into turn 1 here down the start straight finish.
Does Chris go defensive into T1? Looks like they're just going to ride line to stern here.
Yeah, I mean, he is in a Porsche, so better in the corners. He's probably just biding his time for a different part of the track to make the move.
Yeah, it's hard to get around those Mustangs in a straight line. What's Peter and Jacob looking like?
If we go towards those drivers...
Got the Bush's baked beans still.
Yeah, Jacob Simmons half a second in front of Trey Mistak, and then 1.2 Peter Flanner. Elliot Burton kind of rounding out that top 4 because Mark Foley's 1.7 seconds back in P5. So this group is kind of on their own slightly. They got almost a 2-second gap to the drivers behind. Not much has changed except off the start.
Peter's hoping Jacob and Trey battle a bit, and then he can just drive away. It doesn't look like that's happening at the moment. Pax Oceani there.
And he's Noah Hodgkinson, who's only a 10th away from Justin Scott. Justin Scott up 3 positions at the start of this race. And they got quite a bit of time. Justin. Yeah, there's 4 seconds, a 4-second gap to P14, so that's going to be some time to chunk away if he gets ahead of Justin Scott here.
The top 10 is literally all running within 0.4 of a second, 0.2 of a second. So it seems everyone's pace right now is about the same. Everyone's doing those low 42s. Peter Flanner, the leader, with a 42.2, and P2 and P3 with identical times.
Oh, it looked like Noah Hodgkinson might finally have the run here, but kind of just lost out there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to him there. He was pulling right on Justin and then fell back just a little bit.
Alex Othen, still in P8, really just on the rear there of Chris Lambeth, up 2 positions at the start of this race. And Jason Lyons, who's actually gained a couple positions from where he, kind of took off.
Good showing from Pax Oceani, the Pax Oceani squad.
And there we have a Porsche trying to make the move. Nicholas Mazza, who was close. We know he's not going to be Chris Shitterling in a straight line, but in the cornering, he almost got side by side with him. And that's what we want to see. Nicholas Mazza trying to make a good move here, but didn't stick through, Sector 3.
I think Mazza's really trying to get ahead of Chris here because right now when he's in his dirty air and overworking the tires in these corners. I believe he's the faster driver at the moment, so he really wants to get ahead here. Maybe he goes for a move down into turn 1, and he's not close enough. That Mustang horsepower just pulls away on the straight line, and the Porsche has nothing for him on the straights. Oh, shows his nose down into turn 2, or excuse me, turn 3.
And we could see the gap there. The previous lap for Chris Schitterling, he was 0.2 slower than Nicolas Mazda. We kind of already assumed that would be the case, considering the slipstream effect, but I'm not sure if we keep watching this, if the pace is going to change that much more. I think you're right. I think Nicolas Mazda does want to try to get by and really show performance in his car.
I think if Mazda can get by without going down turn 1, then he can get away from Chris. But if not, it's almost going to be like a DRS effect where the Mustang's just going to drive around him on the straight line. So right now they're just kind of back and forth, cat and mouse. It does look like Mazda is the faster driver at the moment.
Going over to Mike Braun, who's sitting in P16. Just ahead of him is Justin Scott. Noah Hopkinson had made the move. He is actually now ahead of Justin Scott. And now Mike Braun, Matthew Johnston, Craig Carroll, Charles Whedon, all in this little lineup here of drivers. This little
seems
snake
Johnson
here.
fell back a few spots here, and I think that all had to do with early on he was pushing pretty hard trying to keep Hoskinson behind him, and might have just overcooked the tires.
Quite possibly. He probably did have some type of issue because he did lose several positions, but Charles Whedon also lost a couple because he was ahead of Matthew Johnston at one point. Charles Whedon
down the inside of Carroll, right? Or to Johnston.
On Craig Carroll, actually, yeah.
Side by side down into the chicane. They're both leaving space.
Craig Carroll gets
well
ahead.
done.
But I think Charles Whedon has a
he's
better run.
Coming back on the inside of the sweeper. Will he push him wide? Oh man, that's really close. They're both.
Oh,
Johnson
Craig Carroll's
a little braver on
brave.
the brakes. Yeah, Johnson a little braver on the brakes, but Carroll holding the outside like a champion.
Oh, that's actually it's Craig Carroll and Charles Whedon. Craig's in the blue, and Charles Whedon's in. No, you're fine, in the yellow. And it looks like Craig Carroll just keeps that ahead. I mean, what a brave move there for him on the outside like that.
Craig holding the speed on the outside while Whedon was a little bit deeper on the brakes. But Craig got it done. Good move.
Yeah. And we'll go over to the Pax Oceani team. The Alpha
Team
and Bravo.
orders
No team orders, I don't think, but it's a lot of saying for Alex Authen there.
His teammates probably got to throw on the windshield wipers to clean off those windshield off all that dirt.
Yeah, just sister teammates, though. Christopher Daniels' teammate is John Javecki. Alex Authen has Alan Paris as a teammate, and Alan Paris is actually ahead. One driver separating him and his teammate. Yeah, P6.
Yeah, Jason Lyons lost 6 positions from where he started, so I definitely believe he had an issue.
Swapping over to Nicolas Mazza, who looked to be
still trying to get ahead of that Mustang.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's pressuring Chris pretty aggressively here, trying to coax a mistake. Chris is wide a little on the hairpin. That Mustang straight line power and exits. I mean, you could literally watch him pull away on the corner exit from the Porsche. Mazda trying everything he can to get by.
And not just yet for Nicolas Mazza, but Christopher Daniel may be looking to make the move now. No, he doesn't. He was separated by 1/10 from his sister teammate, Alex Authen. And it doesn't look like they're pulling away from Jason Lyons either. And JD Daniel just behind Jason there.
Yeah, maybe if I was the team manager of Pax Oceani, I might try, well, they're sister teams, but position swap. Oh, and as soon as I say that, Christopher Daniel goes wide on the exit. Almost lost it, but kept it together.
It's a good thing one of us caught that. Mark Foley, still in P5. He's up 2 positions at the start of this race. just behind him is Alan Pears. Up no positions at the start of this race. He's just kept it where it is.
Mark quietly making his way into the top 5.
That's all right. I'm gonna forward this to Nicholas Massa and see what happened here.
Oh, he's pitting. Oh,
Oh,
did he hit the wall and pit
yes,
entry
he
there?
did.
Oh no,
I think he did because it recorded it as an incident.
that is unfortunate.
But he is back out on track. He is the first driver to pull the trigger. So he was battling Chris Chitterling in P12 for P12. He was P13. He came down into P23. So he's only lost 10 positions. So this could be still.
Well,
It could be impressive to see what happens with this this undercut.
yeah, now he's got some clean air. We'll really have to watch his lap times and see if he can improve on those. I do believe he was faster than Chitterling, so he might be able to go for the undercut here.
Yeah, just being behind him that entire time, knowing he possibly had the
Yeah,
pace to be a little
exactly.
ahead, but now making a different move there. Justin Scott,
On the
and
inside of
Mike
Is that Mike?
Braun.
That's Mike
Or,
ahead of Justin.
or 108. Yep. And Justin Lyons also pulling the trigger. Maybe just to get out of that little gaggle of cars that he was dealing with. Same with Justin Scott. We're gonna now see the pit stop strategy.
The pit cycle. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're seeing some of these guys pit early just for track position, trying to get some clean air and be able to run their race versus being dictated by the guy in front. Like I said, it's really hard to pass here, and if you're faster than the guy in front of you, sometimes pitting might be the best strategy.
We can see
We'll
everyone
see that play out as the race goes.
Absolutely, and we can see on the vertical scoreboard there, no one in the top 15 has pit as of yet, so that will be the thing to look at here, folks. That's the gap from the race leader.
Crack from the leaders in pit first? That'll be really the telltale sign of the race.
What we do know is that Noah Hodgkinson is sitting in P12, 41 seconds behind the leader, which means that if Peter Flanner went into the pit lane, he's going to comfortably be ahead of Noah Hodgkinson. Actually, that would be on the line. He's going to be comfortably ahead of Mike Braun, but it's neck and neck with Noah Hodgkinson. But, Noah's going to have to take a pit stop himself.
Yeah, I think the pit stop time here is pretty short, especially because it runs down into turn 1 down the straightaway. So you're not compromised too much on the time on pit road here.
Here's Eric Rodriguez getting ahead of Rodrigo Theory for P22.
Nice clean move. Got it done. Yeah, Rodrigo cannot fight back, so see if Eric can pull a gap now. Leaders are still all just kind of riding along. The gaps haven't really opened up too much. About a second and a half between P2 and P3.
Yeah, and just for a second on my timing sheet, it looked like there was going to be a little shakeup in the order, but when they cross the line, things do make a little bit of error on my screen. But I thought one of them might have gone into the pit lane, and that is not the case.
Looks like Trey's starting to get a little racy. Maybe Trey's saying now's the time to make a move before the pit stop.
Quite possibly. What's interesting is a lot of the drivers further down in the grid have already opted to go into the pit lane. There's a few that haven't, but the majority are making the change right now. It is the drivers, I would say, up until P17 that have not made a change. From P1 to P17, everyone's sticking on the same strategy, which is let's not even worry about pitting right now.
As soon as we see the leader pit, we'll most likely see those guys follow the leader, no pun intended, and it'll be interesting to see who goes first. Is Jacob going to try to undercut Peter, or Trey kind of undercut Jacob? Because the undercut is a very strong possibility here.
It is strong, but I'm tempted to say that whoever makes the overcut might win out this one because we've seen it before in the races previous. The overcut does work. The undercut has been more powerful, mostly, but it can happen. I wouldn't discredit that. Maybe Trey doesn't go in when Peter Flanner and Jacob Simmons go in.
Hey, and we can't say they won't hit the pit entry wall here too. It could be pretty dangerous pit entry, as we saw with Jason Lyons into the pit wall. Looked like a gap opened up with the Pax Oceani guys a bit here. Daniel on Daniel.
Yeah, they really have opened this up, and just by, I guess race pace has changed. He's almost a second back from Daniel, but Daniel onto Chris Lambert, that's 1.5 seconds difference. And, well, actually, Alex Authen, that's the difference there. Alex Authen's on his outlap. He has gone in the pit lane. He is now joins half the grid that has gone in the pit lane. Nicholas Mazza is behind. Nicholas Mazza is 3.4 seconds, actually. Let's just say he's 4 seconds behind. And that is P16 to 17. Alex Authen was running in the top 10. We'll see what happens with these two drivers now. There's Elliot Burton staying out. Trey Mistek goes in for the undercut, possibly. Peter Flanner stays out. Jacob Simmons stays out.
This push lap by Peter is very important. See if he goes for a one flying lap or a two flying lap in pit, or what his plan is. Looks like the Pax Oceani guys are splitting strategy though. Alex Authen pitted with, I believe Daniel has not pitted, correct?
Right now, because everyone's pitting,
Daniel
it's making
pitted, yeah.
the time sheets are.
Yep.
I can't even say who's overtaking right now. It's red and green and gray. The gray is safe, but the green and red, I'm looking at madness in the
Daniel
pit lane.
hasn't pitted yet. He's showing P6 on the time.
Yeah, Christopher Daniel is P7 right now. As the live. Oh no, he is P6. I'm sorry, you're right. He is on the relative. It is not correct. Positions don't change until they cross the line on the relative, but the vertical score sheet is the most accurate thing that's happening right now. But look at that difference from Peter Flanner to Noah Hodgkinson. P1 to P7. Full pit stop.
Yeah, that'll. Oh, I just heard some tires squeal. I believe somebody lost it somewhere.
All right, we'll pull over to Thomas Baker here, who is in P29 during when this happened. It's him and Dylan Maroney.
Oh, looked like a little hip check there.
Yeah, nothing too.
They're both side by side, door to door.
Yeah, nothing too egregious. Oh, he parks it, I believe.
I don't believe he'd have damage from that, so not sure why he parked it, but looks
Simmons
like we have Mark
in.
Foley in the pits, Jacob Simmons in the pits.
Peter Flanner and Elliot Burton are following the same strategy of draft punk racing, so they're going to go for the overcut. Alan Parrish is staying out there. Christopher Daniel is staying out there. Jacob Simmons in the pit lane. But now where is Trey Mistek? Down the start straight finish, and he's going to be side by side with Jacob Simmons at turn one.
This will be a race up the pit lane. Will Trey get him into turn one? I believe he's got him.
He's got him.
Yeah, he's got him.
He's got him by half a second, and there he goes.
And that's what we were talking about, guys. The undercut here is pretty strong, and Trey just picked up a free spot there.
What a move for that driver.
Yeah, he had to have a good push lap there while Jake was in the pits, and just barely got him. Mark Foley's on his out lap in P5.
Chris Lambert getting ahead of Cooper McCoy for P10. And it looks like JD Daniels also going to get a move down in that corner as he gets ahead for P11.
Looks like Lambeth's in an Oceani sandwich here.
Not only that, Alex Authen,
McCoy in the,
he's got a strong chance to push ahead here.
Peter Flanner in the pits.
And Cooper McCoy is not battling for a position. Technically, he's got to go into the pit lane to serve his mandatory pit stop. He has not done that just yet. And Alex Offen, an undercut that went wrong. His teammates, or his sister teammates, are ahead of him right now. And he was ahead of them, before that pit stop occurring. Peter Flanner is coming out right now. We have Jacob Simmons and Trey Mistak. Trey Mistak might... No, we can see just in the foreground there is Peter Flanner exits comfortably with a second ahead of Trey Mistak. This is looking like it's going to go all down to Peter Flanner here for the top spot.
Yeah, I believe he made up time with that pit cycle. Yeah, he did. He was about a second and a half in the lead before the pit cycle, and now he's almost 4 seconds. So Peter with quite the end lap. Or maybe Trey got a little held up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he got too held up. Let's see here. It's a 1.1 second gap difference. I think Peter Flanner had a little bit more of a gap, or maybe
Pretty
it was
much the same,
I think it's
actually,
pretty
yeah.
much the same relatively. And we could even go as far back as Elliot Burton was, about 3-4 seconds away from P1, and that hasn't changed either. He's 4.3 at the moment. So to his teammate, this seems relatively confident with what their strategy is shaping up with. Unfortunate, Elliot Burton went with the overcut, and it didn't seem to work for him against Trey Mistak and Jacob Simmons.
Got to try something.
Yeah, and Alan Paris on his outlap, still comfortably ahead of his teammates and sister teammates of Christopher Daniel sitting in P6. Something worked out for him because he's ahead of Mark Foley, who is actually went for the overcut, or Christopher Daniel went with the undercut, and it worked out for him. Mark Foley's already been out on a couple laps, and look at that. Yikes. Not sure what that was.
Has Noah pitted? I don't believe he has.
Noah Hodgkinson has gone out into the pit lane. He is...
Okay.
He's
on his outlap right now. Okay, he pitted
Yeah.
late, so he stayed out for some track position.
He is P13 at the moment. He gained some. He's ahead of Jason Lyons, who he wasn't previously ahead of. So he won out there. Jason Lyons is... this stint for him was he was going for an undercut. He's been on these tires for now probably the whole... No one's changing tires here, but he's been out on this stint for 6 laps now. Or as opposed to Noah, who was out there for only one lap now.
Noah was just on his first flying lap after the pits. We'll mark a little wide. Chris might have a look down into... Nope. Decides better. It's very hard to get a move done there. High speed corner with the sausage curb on the exit makes it very dangerous.
I agree. As far as the on-track battles go, Chris Lambeth has one of the few that is shaping up. He's 0.3 to half a second back off of Mark Foley. We're gonna take a look at this driver comparison here and see how much of a difference it is. JD Daniel, he's 0.3 back on that, but if we go over to Mark Foley and Chris Lambeth, last laps, Chris Lambeth was almost 0.3 faster than Mark Foley. Really shows the difference between the Ferrari and the Corvette there, I think.
Yeah, it looks like Chris is trying to get to his bumper and make a move here down into 1, but not quite close enough this lap.
Oh, so thank you for saying that. The Beans Mustang was on the jacks during its pit stop. So maybe taking...
oh, really?
Yeah, maybe taking rights or lefts, but not probably doing a full-on change there. But maybe we didn't actually look at any of the pits. There was no good angle of the pit lane for us to...
I just assumed no tires was the way to go here, to be honest. I mean, it can be a high tire wear track, but
yeah,
typically not a tire swap in these races. We'll have to see if that plays out in Jacob's favor towards the end of the race, if he has a bit more pace with some fresh rubber.
Uh, yeah, and there goes through.
There goes Noah right through.
Uh, no, he's
On,
staying ahead. He's staying ahead of Jason Lyons at the moment. I thought they were letting Steve
oh, that
McAllister
was Steve
in
getting out of the way.
P31 getting out of the way there. Steve
Understood.
McAllister is the teammate to Craig Carroll in the Caffeine Global Motorsports team. Craig Carroll being one of the lead league, not even admins, but the owners, as well as Noah Hodgkinson. Two owners, not far apart from each other there.
What's rule number 1 in motor racing? Don't wreck your teammate. And rule number 2 is probably don't wreck the admin or race control, right?
Yeah. Elliot Burton sets the
Uh,
fastest lap with a 141.774. That is relatively slow in comparison to what we were seeing in qualifying. We'll probably
yeah,
see
it's
that chunk
3/10
up a little
faster
bit.
than everybody else on track currently. So Elliot's really pushing.
The beanie weenies and thumbs. I'm not gonna say the full thing. There's chat saying something I'm not gonna be able to say on stream myself, but
The Bush
it,
Baked Beans with Lamb Dog Memorial Race Team. That
yeah,
that's a
no, nothing
mouthful.
like that. It was it's actually the Bush's Baked Beans with Lamb Dog Duke Memorial Race Team. You got to get it right. It's that's Chris Lambeth and Jacob Simmons. And Chris Lambeth currently sitting in P8.
This race is quickly coming down towards the end. We've only got about 6 or 7 laps left, so some of these drivers are going to start getting desperate for some moves.
And the name just rolls off the tongue. It really does. And we see Jacob Simmons is now 2/10 away from Trey Mistack. A half a second gap after the pit stops. And he's really clawing in here. And just not saying that last part there, Crows. And look at that. Elliot Burton. He was further back. 4 seconds
Yeah,
we were talking about, right? And now
Elliot's
he's
coming quick.
2.3.
He's the fastest car on track by 3/10 currently, and really trying to get up there with Jake and Trey to shake it up. It's going to come down to the last few laps, it looks like. Yeah, 1.2 back, Elliott from Simmons. Simmons is right on Mistack.
And that's really impressive for Elliot Burton. You were saying he is the fastest man on track. He's inching closer towards Jacob Simmons and Trey Mistack. But more importantly, he's cut 2 seconds down off of Peter Flanner in P1, which really just shows you he's reeling in the top 3. And we'll see not only a battle for P2 and 3, but also a battle with him involved.
The Bush's Baked Beans with Lamb Dog Duke Memorial Race Team is all over Trey Mistack as he goes down the inside. He's got the move done.
And Trey
Wow,
doesn't respond there.
He's got it done before the hairpin, and yeah, Trey has nothing for him as far as hey, those tires must be working. It definitely looks like Jacob's got more grip currently. He's already pulled a 3/10 lead on Trey.
Not only that, Elliot Bird just got close. He's now 3/10 away. He was a second back, but this battle has brought him right in the fight.
Smells blood in the water, and he is ready to pounce. Trey looks like he's a bit compromised from Jacob, and let's see if Elliott can capitalize on this. Yeah, Trey's a little wide there in the gravel. That's really going to hurt his exit coming out of this final corner.
Makes me want to grill some weenies. That doesn't sound weird. Man's got a bean helmet. What a guy. He went full bean. It's full beans. It's full beans.
Full beans. Trey goes defensive. Elliott's looking to run to the outside. It's going to be a race to turn 2. Who gets there first?
Oh, and they're
side by side.
That's very respectful too. But oh my, Elliot Burton goes through.
He does. That was clean. They were both door to door, and they both left space, and Elliott got the job done.
Yeah, very respectful, and we still got 5 laps to go.
Well, Jacob looks like he's trying to chase down Peter with those fresh tires. Fresher tires.
And we'll take a look at that. Peter Flanner, do the comparison here. Previous lap was a 142.2. Jacob Simmons with a 142.6. Almost it's a fourth-tenth difference there. He's got to do more than that. It's got a 2.7-second gap to P2. So
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do and not a lot of time to do it in.
it looks like Jason Lyons has got ahead of Noah Hoskinson at one point, and all that intensity in the top five.
And Noah's had his hands full. It seems like all night with some moves, racing hard.
I will say this:
Hard in that mid pack, yeah.
Yeah, Narwhal Racing Team, Noah Hoskinson and Joshua Grasso in Phillip Island. They were once they took a position, they never just got the position. Every person they passed battled them like it was life and death, and it stayed that way for the entire race for each driver. I really saw no team getting pushed around more than they were in terms of like they just had to keep white knuckling some of these corners, going side by side with some drivers, still holding their own and still staying ahead of these drivers. Ultimately, I didn't see them ever lose out on these battles, but man, they weren't just battles. I mean, that's changed the chair. The chair is wet. I mean, that was intense for both drivers last race.
Looks like Jacob Simmons took a few tenths out of the leader, but he'll have to do that again and again. He's only got 3 laps left, so Peter really at this point has to make a mistake for oh, someone's off coming into the final chicane, just in front of the leader there. Didn't look like they impacted him in any way.
And it is someone fully off, and we're gonna go towards that.
It actually helped the leader. It looks like he pulled almost a second from that.
That was Henry Ferguson who went off, but right back out on track. So I think it looks good there.
I just saw the car spinning right in front of the leaders. Luckily, no one was collected. Elliott's within 1 second of Simmons, so let's see if he tries to go for something here in these closing laps. It looks like Peter's basically got it in the bag. Just got to keep it on track.
Famous last words from a commentator.
Not to commentate, curse him or anything. I like the guy.
And can Mark Foley keep ahead here?
Foley, yep. Doesn't look like he's... Oh, he is going to go defensive. Is Lambeth going to go down the inside or send it up the outside? He chooses the outside, and he backs out. Maybe he's going to try to get a run for the switchback out of the second corner. Looks like that was the plan, and Mark covers it off very nicely. Good job, Mark.
He's still not done here.
Nice car placement by Mark, and Lambeth's really trying to make a move here. Takes the racing line real wide to get a run down into the hairpin.
And Mark Foley just playing the defensive game as JD Daniel in P9 is also coming back to him. Alex Othen also reeling it in. His battle's giving the Pax Oceani Alpha Bravo some room to grow here.
Yeah, you got to be extremely brave to try to send it on the outside of the hairpin and make that stick, but looks like Chris might try to make a move down into the final hairpin. Oh no, a blinking car as they battle is always a scary situation.
Not ideal. Not ideal at all.
It does look like Jacob cut a second out of the lead, but it's unfortunately not going to be enough.
You can see the pace difference right now. Is 2 laps to go. Peter Flanner, 35 seconds ahead of P15. That is the kind of pace that Peter Flanner here has at this track. Elliott Burton and Jacob Simmons are now battling it out for P2. Jacob Simmons, who got ahead of Trey Mistack. Elliott Burton gets ahead of Trey Mistack as well. Trey went down to P4. That's 2 lost positions for Trey Mistack. Elliott Burton is reeling him in. He's got a couple laps to do this. Is he going to be able to do it before they cross the finish line?
It's all going to be about lining it up into turn 1 and trying to make the move.
Oh, and look at that. Chris Lambeth trying to be a little bit more aggressive, try to get the move down, and now he's got JD Daniel right
Yeah,
there
all
in the
this
rear.
battling has brought JD right up to Foley and Lambeth to see if he can maybe possibly get both of them as they're distracted by battling each other, and maybe he can sneak by. Lambeth's all over the back of Foley, though. They have been battling these last few laps, and Mark's putting on a clinic as far as defensive car placement goes. Oh no, Elliott has spun. Elliott has spun. The car in P3 has spun.
Oh no.
I'm not sure exactly what happened. I think he lost it on his own, trying just trying to
He
push
makes
too
the
hard
move.
for.
And they come together.
Oh, he did. He tried to go for a move on the Bush's Baked Bean,
Oh
the
no.
Bush's Baked Bean car, and it didn't work out. I believe that was a bit ambitious by Elliott.
Yeah. That's one for everyone to review post race. It's not something we'll try to make a consensus on as we're just commentating here. But yikes!
I just calling it as I see it.
Yeah.
It looked to be a bit of a lunge.
I think Martin Brundle said it best with the, there's ambition and adhesion, but there was maybe a little bit more adhesion.
Rarely do both go together, right?
Yeah.
See if Chris can make a move here. Oh, he's got to run. He's all over the back of Foley.
Oh, what just
Foley
happened
parks
there?
It in the middle. Mark just parked it in the middle of the apex. Kind of what it looked like there.
Yeah, and it just fully.
Chris got very unsettled, and now we've got Daniel all over the back of Lambeth.
Yeah, what a turn of events. That gave him 7/10 there. This is the final lap, apparently. We'll take a look and see.
Peter Planner just sailing off into the distance here. The battle for P8, P9 with Daniel and Lambeth. Will Daniel be able to make a move? He's running out of real estate.
Yeah, definitely got a little bit left to go. We'll take a look at that in just a second as we're coming to the final couple of corners here. I'm hoping this isn't just it. Still nothing's happened with JD Daniel, Alex Authen, Chris Lambeth. I think that move was really
Yeah,
what.
we'll have to go back and look and see exactly what happened between Lambeth and Foley. I don't know if somebody had a moment and then
there's Peter Flanner.
What, but
I think
Peter
that's it for him.
Across the line for
P2 or P1, and then Jacob Simmons in P2. Trey Mistack P3, Alan Paris 4, Elliot Burton in 5, Christopher Daniel in 6, Mark Foley stayed ahead in 7.
Baked beans with lamb dog Duke sauce coming in strong in P2.
And P8 as well. Chris Lambeth goes across P8, JD Daniel in P9, Alex Authen in 10. We're going to switch over to Justin Scott, who's battling it out here. Nicholas Maz in 11, Christopher Chittering in 12, Jason Lyons in 13, Noah Hodgkinson in 14, Mike Braun in 15, Matthew Johnston and Justin Scott battling it out. I don't think he's going to get him across the line, but that goes Matthew Johnston in 16 and Justin Scott in 17.
Well, I will have to say, I believe Jacob Simmons' strategy of taking tires definitely helped him out. He made some moves late in the race with what looked to just be a bit more grip than his competitors.
Absolutely, and we have Charles Whedon in 18. Let's go over, and Craig Carroll in 19, Andrew Cody in 20, Cooper McCoy in 21, Dylan Maroney 22, Jeff Koffold in 23, Andrew Corey Stecky in 24, Eric Rodriguez in 25, Eric Koonsman's crossing line in 26, Kyle Howe still out there, he's in 27, Rodrigo Theory is crossing line in 28, Bryce Bombach just has a couple corners to contend with. The final corner, the penultimate corner, Bryce Bombach in 29, Jeff Lubish in 30, Steve McAllister has parked it in 1 second, but he's crossed the line already. Yeah, he's in 31. Hendry Ferguson in 32. Thomas Baker in 33. Eddie Layton 34. And that's it. Any way to add the make of the car on standing relative for next time?
We can do that, I believe.
I believe there is a capability at some point, but it is in the results category. The make of the car there. Driver plus car, and this is the P1 through P10.
A lot of guys repping the new Corvette just because it's the new hotness. It's a fun car to drive.
Yeah, and you can see some Porsche, Mustang, Corvettes, Audi, Ferraris, Porsches again. No one really making an odd choice here. I think the Audi might be the only one that seems a little bit out of the ordinary for some of these drivers, down to 30 and 31 through 35, entering in with the BMW M4. I think there wasn't a lot of M4s actually on track, so that might be it. If we go up and down the lineup again, that Henry Ferguson's the only one running a BMW M4.
We'll have to go back and look and see exactly what happened with Elliott Burton there in the closing laps and making a move. Oh, it looks like somebody's out of gas there being pushed.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we got in the
Yeah,
replay. He goes for it.
Ooh, I don't know
Jacob
about that
Simmons
one.
turns in.
Yeah, I want to say Elliott was there, and to see on the onboard here, he does get alongside. Might might have needed a little bit more room there. There might be a race control situation here. He was at his door and just gets closed off.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know. What do you guys think? Racing incident or?
that'll be for the stewards to decide on that one, I think. But thank you for joining us. Good. Thank you for saying that, Groves. This is Chad. Chad Peterson with me, who you've been hearing, is a co-commentator for this race. So I appreciate him joining me here. And
Thanks for having me, man. It's
yeah,
a lot of fun.
And I'm Jason Alvarez, commentating myself. Been commentating for this league. See us next time on next Sunday. Can't wait to see what you all think of the broadcast. What's changed? What you like?
Yeah, next week at Daytona is going to be an exciting race.
Yeah. And with that said, see you guys next time.
Next weekend. Yep. Have a good one.